Welcome to the BJ Show. Let's rock and roll. Rock and roll. Come on, everybody. Let's lose control. Brad and John, they're the ones to follow. Yeah, ready for the ride. It's the BJ Show. BJ Show.
It is the BJ Show. Today's date is November 20th. And besides being Camo X Day, do you know about this, John?
No, is it the joke that I made in the first segment of our very first show 2 years ago today? Did I invent Camo X Day, Brad?
It's interesting you remember that. Yes, 11/20 Camo X Day. That is John Combest, Combest. Now, today is an interesting day because 2 years ago today, 11/20/23, we started this crazy show. Right, John?
That's correct, Brad.
Now, John has been feeling, I think, a little underappreciated. He's sort of made a couple comments to me that I don't ever thank him.
Yeah, for probably the last 2 years, wouldn't you say, Brad?
So, John, I'm going to make up for that in 2 minutes.
Oh, did you do a completely nonsense, low-effort AI song?
No, this was a very...
Oh, okay.
You can tell I'm really appreciated. Okay, I put together a special song for you, John. Are you ready?
Oh, so I was right. Okay.
On our 2-year anniversary. Okay, John, this is my best work. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready, Brad.
Are you listening? Are you listening, John?
Yeah, I'm here, Brad. Come on.
Okay, here we go.
Like a lightning bolt, a crazy, brilliant, and dash. We talked, we laughed, we made some noise. Just two radio boys. Oh, the Brad and John Show. Yeah, you know it as BJShow.co. 2 years of magic. How did it go so fast? The Brad and John Show, built to last. Those wonderful early morning chats. We wore our favorite broadcasting hats. Every single word a golden sound. Best in town, no, the Brad and John Show. Yeah, you know it as BJShow.co. 2 years of magic. How did it go so fast? The Brad and John Show, built to last. Remember that time the mic went dead, or when we said what shouldn't be said? Every blunder, every win, we did it all again and again. Oh, the Brad and John Show. Yeah, you know it as BJShow.co. 2 years of magic. How did it go so fast? The Brad and John Show, built to last. Thank you, John. It's been a hell of a ride. It's even better than that. Monsanto pesticide. Yeah. The Brad and John Show. Where did you show it as BJShow.co? 2 years of magic. Baby John didn't know the fear. Brad and John Show. Thank you, John. That John didn't pull his beard. Thank you, John! But the FCC says we need to have diversity, so the new host's name will be one. Oh yes, the Brad and John, fresh as a pod. Thank you again. John, the women listeners love your bod.
John, what do you think?
Incredible, and the opposite of a low-effort song. That was quite touching, Brad. It's even better than a Monsanto pesticide.
Right.
That's a killer line, Brad. That's a killer line. Thank you.
I told you, that took me about an hour and a half, John. You think I just go in the studio, hit a couple keystrokes, and boom, the songs come out? No.
Yeah. Pretty terrific, Brad. That's quite touching. And, I mean, I have a bunch of punchlines to insult you with today, and it's going to be harder to execute them.
But the best part was my last line where I wrote, where you always get upset about fresh as a pod.
Yeah, I heard that, Brad. That's good. That's a way to take a low-effort oversight and turn it into a meaningful punchline and homage.
Fresh as a pod. And John, the women love your bod.
Which is a statement of fact. And also, my name is Juan now because we have to have diversity.
You caught the headline, too.
Yeah, of course. See, Brad, I'm a lyric guy, which is why if I'm driving down the street and I hear 24 hours to compete in a commercial, I'm like, okay. But I love every line in that song, Brad.
The Brad and John show, yes, 2 years, and they said it wouldn't last. Now,
John said it wouldn't last. You're exactly right, Brad.
John said it. We'll just see how far we get with this. Okay, we start off the show with, and by the way, John, I'm going to tell you right now.
And by the way, interrupt yourself, Brad. 9 minutes in, interrupt your own self.
I have a banger of a Brad's top 3 this morning.
Oh, you do?
The best,
I can't wait to hear it, Brad.
The best one I've ever done. Trust me, because
the bar's low.
This one is, you're not going to believe the story and how I'm going to embellish it, okay? I'm going to give you...
I mean, you're known for embellishing. Let's get into John's top 3.
This is John Top's 3. Every day he puts together this incredible website, yada, 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 johncombest.com. Go there, and what we start the show off with, the top 3 songs. We bring in this guy, not the songs, the top 3 stories. Here's this guy. What's your name, sir?
I'm Casey Kasem.
And we start off with...
In third place...
We are dang near holiday season. Some would say we're in the thick of holiday season. We have Thanksgiving. We have, of course, at the end of December, we have the most important holiday of the year, which is Kwanzaa. And then after that, in early February, we have another great holiday where people sit around being fat and stuffing their face and indulging in alcohol to drown their sorrows. And that's called the Super Bowl. And someone with Missouri ties has a little plan for the Super Bowl. We're going to go across the state to my boy, Tony Bateo. Tony's Kansas City, who has an amalgamation, a compilation, a pastiche of stories. Gracie Hunt, Brad, the daughter of the Chiefs co-owner, Gracie Hunt endorses the Turning Point USA Super Bowl halftime show. And Tony says, shame? Now, Tony, by using the word shame, is acknowledging the fact that there's a lot of huffy liberals that are really mad that anybody with ties to the Kansas City Chiefs or the city of Kansas City should be endorsing Erica Kirk. And I know you're up on this story, Brad, that Erica Kirk has planned her own Super Bowl halftime festivities, kind of a pro-America, pro-family alternative to the traditional Super Bowl halftime show. So Tony, as he's outstanding at doing, not only adds his own commentary, but provides news sources from mainstream media about the topic. Now, I love the idea of there being an alternative to the Super Bowl performance. And you and I are in the same boat, Brad. We're generally not, at least not me anymore. I used to watch football every week when the Rams were here. After the Black Lives Matter nonsense and the NFL condoning and endorsing anti-American activities, I pretty much stopped watching the NFL. But I'll watch parts of the Super Bowl, and I love watching the commercials. I know that's your favorite part. I guess what I want to say, Brad, is that having alternative halftime shows has been a big part of pop culture since the 90s. I remember In Living Color had a big halftime special. WWE has done halftime specials before. So I love the idea that there's a conservative, some might say right wing, or maybe borderline libertarian halftime show. What do you think of this hubbub, Brad?
John, you missed the best one.
What's that?
The girls playing football in underwear. Remember that?
Brad, it wasn't underwear. I believe it was lingerie.
Lingerie, okay, something like that.
Yeah, there's a difference, Brad.
John, I have never watched an entire Super Bowl. I've never watched an entire Super Bowl. Matter of fact, there's years I've watched 0 Super Bowl. A couple years I went to the gym and worked out. Just because once again, I get so hyped. And, you know, who cares if the Rams aren't in the Super Bowl anymore? I mean, I got to root for the hometown team, John. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And also, but I think there's something where you and I have come back from Super Bowls before, and not actually attending them, but we've come back on the Monday and we've talked about the commercials. So I don't watch every commercial, but I do watch clips of them on YouTube and analysis of them, because that's obviously, and Brad, you're the marketing expert here, so you love the idea of what effective commercials are and what they are not.
Well, yeah, and matter of fact, I hear bad ones all the time. Once again, when you hear commercials where they mention the sponsor's name once, okay, that's pretty bad. But I was going to say something, but we're behind time, so it's ready for number 2?
Yeah, let's do it.
Up a notch to number 2.
And your surprisingly high effort AI song to commemorate the 2-year anniversary of the Brad and John Show. You mentioned changing my name to Juan because we need to have more diversity. Brad, as is your wont, you led unwittingly into story number 2 today, a headline we'll use Missouri Nets, although there's several today. Missouri investigates MSHSAA, that's the Missouri State High School Athletic Association, board member policy about race and sex. Now, here's what it comes down to. State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick has a whistleblower line. He allows people to kind of ring the alarm, blow the whistle, as Too Short would say, if anybody is a bad actor in Missouri government. And he got a tip that a whistleblower, was told they could not apply for a board position because that person was white and male. And this white male was told at-large seats on the Missouri High School Activities Association. I said athletic. I meant activities. Pardon me. Criticizing the policy for at-large seats to represent a, quote, underrepresented gender or ethnicity. Now, Fitzpatrick took that, as he should, right to Catherine Hanaway. And here's what Hanaway says. Missouri does not tolerate race-based or sex-based discrimination, period. No organization that governs our public schools or our children's activities can operate under an immoral system that tells someone they are the wrong race or the wrong sex for leadership. Because MSHSAA receives significant public funding and exercises statewide authority over public school extracurricular programs, any rule that conditions board eligibility on race or sex raises serious constitutional concerns. So maybe we're beginning to see yet another strike against racist and sexist discrimination against white males. What do you think, Brad?
I thought for sure you were going with the locker room deal on that one. Hold on, I got to clear my voice. But it's, you said in management positions, or what was the term?
Yeah, exactly right. And serving on MSHSAA's board. And, Missouri State High School Activities Association has been in the news. There's been a lot of fights about the extent to which homeschool kids can participate. And actually, thanks to Franklin County Senator Ben Brown, homeschool kids can now compete, or it makes it easier for homeschool kids to compete in high school athletic activities. So yeah, this is Catherine standing up and saying discrimination is discrimination. And a lot of mouth breathers use the phrase reverse discrimination. There's no such thing as reverse discrimination. Discrimination is discrimination.
See,
and Catherine Hanaway says no more.
John, you and I agree on that 100%, because I've always felt that. If someone says to you, I'll give you a perfect example. When I first got into the radio business way back when, the FCC had just put in very stringent EEOC requirements, and to the point where I applied for many jobs in the St. Louis area, and I had several general managers / program directors say to me, you know what, we think you'd be good here in the station, but we got to hire a black female. Yeah,
you're exactly right, Brad. And
right.
I think there's a certain thing that I may or may not have signed that says that I can't talk a lot about certain things that happened at my former employer. But I knew a really competent white male manager who was expressly told that he wouldn't get that leadership position, the next rung up, because they had to give it to the black guy.
Yeah, and the sad part of that is that to me, if you want the model of meritocracy, which is the way it should be, look to professional sports. If the people don't perform, they're gone. You know what I'm saying?
Now, Brad, you're a big proponent of racial quotas in the NBA, if I recall correctly.
No, once again, it's all meritocracy. See, that's the amazing thing to me is that the people, and here's the interesting part of it: the lawmakers who are saying, well, we have to have diversity, and then they're sitting at the Super Bowl, and you're thinking, okay, diversity. I'm a 90-year-old white guy. How come I can't be out there on the Super Bowl, playing on the Super Bowl?
Because you can't perform like a 25-year-old hefty black man.
Exactly, meritocracy.
That's exactly right,
Let the
Brad.
best person
and
do
you
it.
know who you don't see on the field at the Super Bowl? Oh, a man from China. Can we get to story number one?
The number one.
Several headlines today on johncombest.com about China and China assets. We'll talk about two, Brad. We'll talk about two stories. The first one's from the Post-Dispatch, Jack Suntrip of the Post, and also Kurt Erickson contributed. And also the Mark Reardon show yesterday featured Catherine Hanaway. She's in two of the top three stories today, Brad. So Catherine was on Reardon's show. Maybe we'll start with the Reardon comments with limited time here. But if you recall, Missouri found... Okay, I'm trying to say this in the most articulate way. Missouri is seeking to recoup its damages from COVID. Now, we know that China was responsible for COVID. We know that what was once considered a conspiracy theory is actually fact. And Missouri is seeking to recoup its economic losses that it suffered during the COVID era. And Catherine Hanaway is saying, okay, how can we go about actually collecting on this? Now, you'll recall that this process was started when Eric Schmidt was Attorney General. So let's give him credit for getting the ball rolling on all of this. As Catherine explained succinctly on Reardon's show yesterday, this is essentially a process of Catherine going to the feds and saying, hey, feds, hey, State Department, these documents are in your hands. We want you to serve the Chinese government and allow us down the road, next step, to begin seizing and then selling off assets in Missouri that belong to the Chinese government. Catherine added an important asterisk to this story, which is the idea is not to confiscate businesses, land, etc., that's owned by Chinese people or Chinese businesses, but that Catherine and team have to prove that the Chinese government is actually owner, or I believe part owner of these assets. So where the rubber meets the road, Brad, is if Smithfield, which is a Chinese government-owned company, if I recall correctly, if they have 40,000+ acres in the state of Missouri, the state of Missouri would be able to seize those assets, sell them off, and then use those assets as part of the recovery of the damages. Do you follow me?
I do.
Okay, yeah, and I'm not sure. Catherine did a better job explaining that than I did. And folks can find a link, of course, with a timestamp on my website today.
But isn't it that any Chinese company essentially is technically owned by the Chinese government? Isn't that the way it really?
Yeah, Brad, that's the crux of the issue, is that I'm glad you mentioned that, because you cannot go in China, like China has a piece of the action. Even if you're an American or a German company and you want to do business there, China gets a piece of the action.
Right. They
get access to all your emails and your technology and all that stuff. So I think, and again, Catherine does a better job of explaining this, but you have to show that the Chinese government has whatever piece of their ownership. So if they technically own X% of Smithfield Foods, then Missouri would be able to seize X% of that Smithfield land.
Interesting. Okay, you ready for the ultimate Brad's top three, John?
I can't wait, Brad. Now, I have a feeling that this will be either I don't mean to set expectations too high, but knowing you, I have a feeling there will be some sort of multimedia, or you'll call McCluskey in the shower and he'll speak to us with a waterproof Bluetooth or something along those lines.
No, we'll get in between sets and they'll just say, okay, I just bench pressed 3,000
Yeah, I just
pounds.
banged out a bunch of bicep curls. I'm totally not on TRT. This body's natural.
Okay,